G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Pierre, Simple Homebrew. I'm doing a Merlot today, a California one. It's a signature series by VineCo. It's got grape skins in it, it's got juice in it, it's got everything in it. It's going to be awesome. If you want to see how it's done, stick around. So I've got this VineCo Merlot California. It's a Merlot. It's a red wine, of course. It's a signature series kit. Now, I did a signature series kit by VineCo again. This one, the Shiraz. And I loved it. It actually was beautiful. I'll pour a glass. Now, this is a wine glass that was given to me without the stem. They actually have no stems on these wine glasses, which is absolutely awesome. That's it. It smells great. Beautiful smelling wine. It's very rich in flavour. I did a less capacity than I should have, and it really made a big difference to the flavour. A very nice wine indeed. It's very tannin is very limited. It's there, but it's not really sparkly and crazy on the tongue. It's very soft on the tongue. Smooth going down. Really, really tasty. I'm going to sip this all the way through making this wine. So in this kit, and if you haven't seen a kit made before, I've got a few videos on doing this. It's a kit you follow through instructions that the system has, which is a bit different to the instructions you would see, let's say, on maybe doing original grapes. Like there's a few things that people debated when I said you have to put in bentonite at certain stages and things like that. This kit tells you to do it this way, and that's how we're doing it today. We're doing it the way the instructions say. I also am putting in some natural spring water. Pour that as a 10-litre bottle. That's going in. I'm not going to use tap water. I did find that using tap water in these brings out a weird flavour in the wine, so I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to do it like this. So let's get unboxing, shall we? Now, we have to open this, right? So basically, it's sealed nicely. Just get this open, because we've got to get in there to get our bits out. There's a few things in here we need to get out. This is our grape skins. They need to be put into a muslin bag. This is the muslin bag the grape skins go into. We have oak cubes. We have oak chips. We also have more oak chips, and they're both American medium. So I'd say they go in at different stages. And the kit of small like yeast and bentonite and all your chemicals you need to actually ferment with and process your whole wine with. The other part are the labels for the Merlot, and that's it. That's all we have left. So what we need to do first of all is set this up so the nozzle is up. We need to set it up inside our box here so we can pour it out later. I'm not going to tear this off. You probably can't see what I'm doing properly here, but I'm going to tear the bits that need to be torn off. One side, other side, and put this back together promptly so I can actually use this as a pouring device. What I might do is the old box way. Like box that down, that up. Nope. That down, that up, and that underneath that one, so it holds itself together. Like that. This nozzle will come through, we'll lock it in place just in the end here, just to help with the pouring later on. That's ready to go. I'm going to move this out of the way, and we'll get into the next part. So the first bit we need to sort out what we have. We have oak chips and more oak chips and oak cubes. Now we're going to use them. We have a muslin bag and some grape skins. but we need to first open our instructions up. So Chitosan, yeast EC1118. This is your instruction manual, guys. Look at the instruction manual. Please read it. Make sure you write it down. Do what you have to do. I'm a bit slack when it comes to recording things, but I'm going to record this one. On this instruction manual, there's either French or English. So if you're English, read the English side. So we're on day one, so I'll just fold it up so we just work with day one. So now what we have to do is clean and sanitize everything we're going to use. Now I use a Keg King Chubby to do my wines in, this one here. This guy, I did a calibration of your literage on the side, so I know how much product I'm putting in, because I've been pretty slack lately and not getting the right amount of product in there. That's already sanitized and clean, using Chitosan and hot water, tap water. Basically mixed 1.5 mil to every 10 litres of Chitosan, which made me a good sanitized product to sanitize everything. I've got a jug. The jug is to help me pour stuff and mix stuff. I'm going to do my bentonite in here with hot water, which we need, and a couple other things as well. A lot of these products that we see here at the moment, Chitosan, sulfate sorbate, and bentonite, are not going to be used. The bentonite will be, nothing else is going to be used today. We just need these 3 items. And the instructions do say that we need to now boil 2 litres of hot water to mix up our bentonite so we can pour it into our fermenter. So I'm going to do that. I'll boil the kettle. I'll be back to you soon. Okay, the kettle's boiled. I've got 2 litres of boiling hot water in here. I'm going to pour it into this jug. Now I'll put sanitizer in the jug, not that I need to, because hot water kills pretty much everything. I fogged up the lens, hang on. Quick fix. Is that better? So the reason why we use hot water, or purely hot water for bentonite is quite hard to dissolve. It's not a big deal if you don't dissolve it perfectly, but it is a big deal if you don't try to dissolve it a little bit at least. And what bentonite is a old ancient volcanic, it's a clay basically that has a grade in it that will attach itself to proteins, and as it's fermenting, these bentonite will attach to the proteins, and when you start clearing it out later, they'll pull the proteins out of the suspension and pull all the proteins down to the bottom of the actual fermenter. Of course, we've got a spoon. It has to be a plastic spoon because we've got a plastic jug. Never use metal on a plastic jug. Dip that in there because it's stinking hot, and we'll just pour a little in, just like that. This is how I do it. And we just pour a little bit more in, just patiently adding bentonite in the actual hot water so it dissolves bit by bit. Now, it doesn't matter if it doesn't dissolve properly, not a big deal. It will work anyway, but we do it like this so we can get the best we can out of dissolving it. Done. So that's actually pretty much dissolved better than I've ever done before, to be honest. Sorry about the fogging lens there, but this is what happens, I suppose. The other wine's probably fogging up too. I've never really dissolved that that well before, and my wines still have come out pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll stir that for a little bit, just to get it all broken up, hopefully. And then I'll proceed to add, would you believe, the juice into the fermenter first. They say to put the bentonite in first, but my fermenter's plastic, so it's going to melt it if I just pour this straight in. Now I'll set that aside, and I'll empty my fermenter out, because it's full of sanitizer, and I'll pour it in. I've got over here a little bucket that I have in my sink here that will just take the juice or the sanitizer that I can still use, so I can use it for rinsing my stuff in as I go. Okay, don't fear the foam. This is a saying for this kind of stuff. The foam is there to actually coat the sides of the fermenter so it sticks to it, so it sanitizes properly. That way, it keeps it sanitized even when there's no sanitizer in it or much. I'm going to grab my juice which is this fella, and proceed to pour it into the fermenter using a funnel. Now, the funnel is not sanitized, and the advice would be grab yourself a bottle of sanitizer, like this, a squirt bottle, so you can just sanitize things randomly, inside and out, just by spraying it, just like I am now. Now, the sanitizer I use is Chitosan. Chitosan is a acid or food acid based sanitizer. What it does is it kills all the bacteria after about 30 seconds of contact with the surface. The other good thing about it is the yeast eats it. It likes it. It seems to use it as a bit of a nourishment. So I like that. So if you're worried about the sanitizer spoiling your wine, don't worry, it won't. Now I've got to get this lid off. Shouldn't be too difficult. Just like that. It's off. It's gone on the floor somewhere. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Smell it. You should smell it. It's bloody beautiful. Now you won't be able to see it. You'll be able to see it on the camera that I've got down on the side here. You'll see me pouring it in. Ready? And I spilt it. Now I've got little calibrations on the side. I've measured up. I actually poured water in the fermenter before I did all this and put a line on every litre that I went to. And every 5 litres I made sure I just wrote 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, it's working a treat. I now know that this said it has 14 litres, but it's actually not 14 litres. I'd say it's 14 litres with the grape skins. Now, in the instructions, it actually says once you poured this in, top it up to 23 litres, then put the grape skins in, which I'll do. In goes the Bentonite. Just like that. Pretty much got most of it. It's nearly all out. The Bentonite's done, so that actually brought up to 14 litres. There you go. So that brings it to 14 litres once you do that. Makes sense. The next bit is to put the grape skins in. Or, no, it says to bring it up to 23 litres before putting the grape skins in. So that's what I'll do. I'll get my mineral water. It's at 14. 23 litres is... You won't be able to see where I'm standing. Right where I pointed. It's just under, a smidge under 23 litres. That's all I care for. You know what? I'm supposed to rinse this out. What have I got? I've got 500 ml. Can I do it with 500 ml? I've got no water left. Oh well, I'm not going to rinse it out, am I? Yeah, the last bit of the job is to get the grape skins in a muslin bag. Now the muslin bag I've got here in my Super High Brew mug. This is what I use for drinking my coffees in when I'm in the shed. Inside is a heap of sanitizer that's been soaking in there for about 10 minutes. I'm going to pour directly into this muslin bag my grapes, this one here. So I guess the only way to do it is to just pop the lid. Put the muslin bag over the end. Drain off some of the sanitizer. And I don't know how to do this. How am I going to do it without making a mess? I know. In my jug. That's still clean. Okay. Here goes nothing. Does it say? Oh, this is a problem. You know what? Oh, I think it might have been smarter to cut the muslin bag open. The grape juice bag. Oh, too late now. Oh, it's really awful. It's like going to the toilet. I'll tell you what, this is not nice. No, it's something I forgot to do. I forgot to put gloves on. I'm going to have red grape juice all over my hands later, and it's going to stain my hands, I bet you. Alright, I think that'll do. It's pretty much empty, gone. That was actually a workout doing that. Now just remember, my hands just went into a bucket of sanitizer, so I'm just going to seal this end. I'm going to actually tie it just at the end here, because I'm going to have to make a long slither out of this, like a sausage, to actually have this go into the actual fermenter. So I'll quickly tie that knot. And I don't know the purpose of using grape skins. I think the grape skins give it a extra tang, I suppose, or a bit of a bite to the flavouring in the wine, maybe. But that's it. I don't know if I'm going to get that in there. I might. We'll give it a try, shall we? Let's see. Let's see how much trouble I can get into doing this. I think the real worry is, am I going to be able to get it out later? I don't think this is a good idea. Well, you guys are going to get a laugh at it, but anyway, and I've wasted a little bit. I did get it in there so far. Look at that. It's got a very soft texture to it. It's like a molassesy texture to it. I'm going to clean up. Now, I just read the instructions. First things first, it does say to add the oak grains in, so the granules, but not the cubes. You put the cubes in later on. So I'm going to put the oak chips in. With the oak chips, basically, I always sanitize the packets before I open them. Same as what I do with the yeast as well. The reason why is it is being handled by people in factories or whoever build them, and they can tend to get small amounts of bacteria just sitting there waiting. Not that it should be, but we always make sure we don't take a chance. So throw those oak chips in. It says to put both packets in now. No, I said the other oak cubes go in later. I guess when the fermentation slowed down or stopped. So now I need to add yeast, but first I need to stir this whole thing in. Now the actual fermenter is nearly up to 25 litres, but we're going to lose a lot of that because of the grape skins and things like that as well. What I'm doing at the moment is spraying my stirring stick, just so I can put it in the fermenter, because it's probably got bacteria on it. I'm just going to quickly stir it all. Now the other thing I find interesting in this is last time I accidentally put the grape skins in without the sock, and it worked out fine. This is the wine that I did that with, this one here. Problem I've got with this is the skins actually add sweetness to the brew, but they're in a sock. So does it all come out? Well, I'm hoping it does. Maybe it's a way to do it that will actually work. I'm going to now put the lid on and use EC118 or 1118, which is a regular wine yeast. And I'll cut that. And I'll shake out the make sure that the yeast is at the bottom of the packet before I do it. I might as well pour it in now before I shake it. So cut the lid off. You probably didn't see me do that. Are you recording? Yes. And I'll throw that on top of everything else I've just done. That's it. Done. So what I have to do now is chuck it in the fridge. Well, actually, I'll shake it first. Put the lid on. We need something to block that hole for now. I'll just shake it. Just to get it aerated a little so the yeast can have something to eat and breathe at the same time or whatever. Done. That is shook up. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you. All I need to do now is just put a sanitized solution in here, which is the airlock to stop bacteria getting in. So how this works is you put enough sanitizer. I use sanitizer, you don't have to, you can use alcohol. When yeast is eating the sugar, it's creating CO2, and that is creating pressure in the actual fermenter. And what happens then is it pushes up out of the hole of the fermenter, or the nearest area it can get out. Thus, we use a airlock to let it get out but not let anything in. So what this does, it stops bacteria coming back into your brew. While it's fermenting, that's fine. Once it stops fermenting, that's when it can be a problem, because it's back pressuring. So throw that on there. I'm going to need to put a heat belt on this because we're down to cold weather again here in Gippsland, and I'm going to throw it into my fermentation chamber or fridge that I have, and that will thus help me control the temperature at 20 degrees Celsius until it's finished fermenting. It says to ferment at 20 to 25 degrees. I'm going to leave it at 20 degrees so we don't get too much activity too quickly. So this is it. This is the fermentation chamber. At the moment you can see things happening. I've got the heat belt on. The temperature of it is 22 degrees. You probably can't see that too well on this camera. I'm going to tape this to the body, maybe, or just shove it in. I'll shove it in there, that'll do. It is a fermentation fridge, so it's going to be at that temperature anyway. It doesn't really matter so much. It's going to have a probe in there just to see what the temperature is around it. It should adjust basically to the temperature of the fridge anyway and be there until we finish fermenting. So it'll take a couple of weeks, and from there we'll keep going with it. So just remember, we sanitized everything as we went. I didn't put all of the juices in. I just extracted most of it and did that. We got 25 litres anyway. It'll be fine. And we're fermenting at 20 degrees Celsius with a fermentation chamber to ferment for about 2 weeks, hopefully to get it to work as well as possible. So I'm coming back to this once it's finished fermenting, and we'll go to the next stage of transferring it into another keg to clear it. We'll see you then. Alright, it's been 3.5 weeks. It took 3.5 weeks to finish fermenting. Quite funny, really. I kept it at about 20 degrees Celsius in a fermentation chamber to keep it dark, keep it fermenting at a really slow, steady pace. And it's finally finished. It took a long time. It actually took a lot longer than 2 weeks. Today, what we're going to do is transfer it into a secondary, and we're going to kill the yeast and get rid of the gas. So what I have is a glass carboy. Now, a lot of people say these things are dangerous. They are. Be careful with them. Never lift them by the handle on alone. Always grab your hand on the bottom. Make sure you lift it properly. Get it up out the way, because the handle's just there to stabilise it, basically. That's all I'm trying to say. Today, what I've got is the auto siphon. This is an auto siphon. It's absolutely awesome. It's sitting in sanitizer at the moment, and I have actually thrown sanitizer through the guts of it to sanitize the actual silicone tube I'm using to transfer it out of the actual fermenter. I will have to spray this down with a bit of sanitizer out as well as the tube outside the tube, so we don't actually contaminate our drink as we go. So I'll do that now, and I'll come to the point of siphoning. In my brew shed, I've got a spray can of sanitizer pre-made. I did this a while back, and it's been sitting there for a while. It is brand new sanitizer, basically. All I'm going to do is just getting it all over myself. You won't be able to see what I'm doing here. I've got a cup of coffee there. I don't want to get sanitizer in. I'm just going to spray my tubes and the outside of the unit, just so that the outside of the tube is spotless, or not spotless, but bacteria free. Leave that for about 30 seconds. What we're doing today is stopping the yeast from producing anything, basically killing it. So we're going to put chemicals in. First though, we need to siphon off the bed of the actual fermenter, so we leave the trub behind, as well as any sediment or anything that might be in there as well. So we get a clearer wine before we start degassing. So we'll just quickly shake the This has been cleaned, by the way, spotless. Quickly shake the sanitizer around and I'll tip the excess sanitizer out. Now I want to talk to you about the idea of no rinse sanitizer. The idea is the foam will sit inside like this, and as you fill up the carboy, it'll bring the foam up on top of your new wine, and it will keep it sanitized all the way to the top. That's the idea. Wine is not like beer, it can be oxidized, and it's safe to do it like that. I do like to tip most of the excess sanitizer out if I can, but it doesn't matter, it won't affect your wine at all. So we have our siphon, it's ready, sanitized and clean. We are going to take off the cap off the wine. Hasn't been opened since we started, so it should be pretty easy. I'll just take that off. Nice and easy, look at that. And we don't want to stir up any of the sediment. We want it to be nice and calm when we put it in. So I'll slowly insert the siphon. Like I said, this is an auto siphon. Push it down till it touches the bottom, but don't move it or wiggle it. Just like that. You can feel it going into the tube, the bottom really, really well. You ready? Up comes. Down goes. So it looks like a little bit of trub has gone through. That's not a problem, it'll clear out, because this is the first time, this is the start of the clearing. The second time will be much more clearer once we get to that point. So I'll let that siphon. Once it's finished, I'll come back and show you what else to do. There's a bag of grape skins. Now you need to actually strain that out before you transfer it into your secondary. I couldn't get to it. It's the wrong fermenter, which is something I'm going to fix in the future. So I'm missing out on those grape skin juices, but I'm sure this will be still a very good brew. Right, now the next step we have to do is pour in the sulfite and the sorbate. This is a 2-in-1 kit. Look, it's basically going in to kill the yeast that's in your beer, and I just dropped it on the floor. Alright, got it. Lucky, nearly lost it. I'm going to pour it in now. Just pour it in like this. So next thing we have to do is stir it up. This is one of these, and I actually cut it and heated it up and melted it into a shape like a little stirring stick. Works alright, does the job. I just need to sanitize it now. Just make sure there's sanitizer all over. I already have, but I'll do it again. Just to make sure we don't get any bacteria in our beer, wine. We need to stir this for 10 minutes. Rotating the stirring stick. Every 30 seconds, we're going to rebound. What we're doing here is we're actually degassing the wine. When the fermentation happens, it puts out a CO2 or carbon dioxide, and it creates bubbles in your wine, which you want to get rid of. And this is the way we actually get rid of it. So what I'm doing is I'm actually rotating it one way for 30 seconds and then rotating it the other way for 30 seconds, going against the actual whirlpool, which will really help get rid of the gas really quickly. Wow, what an effect. Look at that. See all the gas coming up? It's all getting extracted. Wow. Now, back to the instructions. I've added the sorbite and sulfate. That's going to kill all the yeast that's in there. It's going to make sure that it doesn't start fermenting again. So the next step is to add 1 packet of Kaisersol. We're adding 1 packet only. The next packet goes in tomorrow after 24 hours, as well as the Chitosan, as well as the oak chips that comes with the kit as well. So we'll do that Well, for you it'll be straight away, but for me it'll be tomorrow. So in goes the Chitosan. Sol, sorry. Just like that. In the old days, I think they were actually adding Sol in a much bigger dose. But these days, it doesn't look like they do that. All right, Chitosan's in. We'll give it a bit of a stir. Not harshly. And I'll pop the fermentation cap on, which is the airlock. As well as set this up as a new airlock for the time being. These little silicone airlocks, these are great. Some people ask me where to get them from. I got it off eBay, would you believe? I've had it for about 4 years and it's done the job big time. That's it. Done. Done. So that's it. I might put a little bit more sanitizer in there. Just to make sure. That'll just stop bacteria folding back into the unit itself. So that's ready. We will see you in about 24 hours. Okay guys, you can see that I've put this in a little, like a dark wrap, just to make sure it stays isolated and insulated from light and maybe some of the colder temperatures. Doesn't really matter if it gets cold now. Quickly get the oak chips. We'll spray it up. It's been about 26, 28 hours since I last talked to you. And I had to end up working today, so I had to do this a bit later. Doesn't matter so much. Now, I've sprayed that with sanitizer so that we don't get anything into the wine now. Now, these oak chips are going to soak in there for 2 weeks. That's the oak cubes, American oak cubes. That's in. So I have to also add the Kaisersol. That's the second lot of Kaisersol. And we'll put a bit of spray on that as well so that we don't get any kind of bacteria in anything we do. This is just to protect it a little bit. This has to be stirred, gently stirred, so that we'll get a bit more clarity out of our wine. It also tells you we must put in the Chitosan as well. It's a big 150 ml container of Chitosol, sorry. We'll throw that in as well. This one I've got to be careful. Once I gently stir it, which we'll do now, I'll pop this back on. And I'll give it a good old stir. It's not wanting us to stir it up too much from the sediment at the bottom so that all the product stays at top. It just stirs around the top and makes its way down, pushing all the sediment and any kind of thing left behind to clear out the wine. So we need to leave that for about 2 weeks now and see how it clears out. In about 7 days, you need to check the actual bottle and make sure that some of the sediment's not stuck on the sides. And what you do is to give it a gentle twirl, just to make sure that it all falls to the bottom, and that should help clear it out. 2 weeks, you can leave it longer if you like, as long as you keep it all sealed like this. It has to stay at around about 20 degrees Celsius, and once we're to that point, we'll bottle it. All right, we'll see you then. Right, we're at the stage of bottling now. I've rinsed it, I've washed it, scratch that, the other way around. I've washed it, rinsed it, sanitized it. They're on my bottling tree, all ready to go. I think there's about 29 bottles. I broke one. I'm going to stack all those bottles into this little fella. This esky I'm using is quite good. It's it holds 28 bottles perfectly, and they're the 28 flat bottles, and they're awesome. Have a look. Beautiful, just nice. Now I have sanitized my auto siphon. That is about to go into my newly cleared wine. So I now need to unwrap that bottle. What I'm going to do is actually siphon this into the wine bottles. Now I've got a video doing this. I've actually posted a video on this channel on how to do this, so I won't bore you with it this time around. I will pop a link up here just so you can have a look at it and see what goes on. So I'll bottle this wine, get it all ready, and we'll do a tasting as soon as it's done. Well, that bottling job went quite well. We did end up with 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 bottles. One bottle was broken, so we had to abandon that one. And that would have been 27 bottles, which usually is what goes on. It says have up to 30 bottles ready. I guess 30 bottles is the max you're going to get. But 26 bottles is just great. I'm going to try a sample and let you know what it tastes like. My glass, nice and clean. Let's try it, shall we? Let's have a look. All right, the colour is very clear. You can't really tell, actually, in the bottle. When it's pouring, it was quite clear. You can see through it, there's no chance. It's pretty dark, but wow. It smells good. This took no less than about 12 weeks to make this video and get to this process. Now these wines will sit in my house at around room temperature, probably a bit warm, and they don't last as long when you store them at 20 degrees Celsius. So you really should store them at around about 12 degrees to 14 degrees Celsius all the time in a nice cool area. But I don't have the means to do that. I need a wine fridge to do that, and I haven't got one. Anyway, the smell is nice. The percentage of alcohol is 13.6. And it's looking pretty good. I probably shouldn't put so much in there, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. Smells fresh, newly made, of course. Let's taste it. Oh. Yeah, it's very, very dry. Got a bit of tannin on the tongue, so that it's going to need some time to age. It's definitely a Merlot for sure. It really tastes like a Merlot. Very sharp. It's got a very high percentage of alcohol in this one. I probably should check that. I think I might be wrong. It actually tastes a bit more boozy. It tastes a bit like it's got more alcohol than usual. I will check that, and when I do, I'll pop the alcohol volume just here on the left here. Nonetheless, this is very nice. It's not overly smooth yet, so I'll give it some time. Very strong in flavour. Tannin's very, very powerful, and on the tongue, it's more I sip it, the better it gets. Yeah, I can taste a really strong tannin on the tongue. Nice. It's very nice. It's definitely a really strong flavoured Merlot. Can't really taste the wood, but that's probably because I've lost touch when it comes to wood. But other than that, it's really nice. Right. Well, I'm wrapped. This came out good. I haven't had a failure yet. There was one I did was the same brand actually. It was VineCo, but it was their standard kit, and that's what I'm missing. Last one I did had grape skins in it, but the grape skins had like a smooth, I don't know, molassesy type of finish to it. And I got all that into the wine, where I didn't do that this time. And that's where I think the smoothness is gone. But other than that, it's good. Sorry to be on a tangent like that, but I'm wrapped. This came out good. This is a VineCo Merlot, California. And it's quite nice. It's quite good to do. You can drink it straight away or give it a few months, and it's going to improve just with age. Guys, thank you very much for watching this whole video right through. If you want to support the channel, I have Patreon. Patreon is a real support. I wouldn't be able to do this wine without Patreon. They paid and funded this. I don't get sponsorship from any companies. I do, though, have an affiliation with Kegland. And if you want to try one of these kits, click on the link below. Cheers, guys. Thank you to my patrons for looking after the channel. Thank you very much for watching this video right through to the end. And if you want to support this channel, please do. I'll see you in the next brew. Cheers.